Welcome to this video. In this video, we will imagine ourselves like Agatha Christie writing a novel on who is killing India the most. And we will explore the surprising answer and the easy solution. So let's get started. So in the book, Murder on the Orient Express, we had a very large list of suspects. And in the conclusion, everyone had played a role in murdering the victim. Okay. So to start off, who are our suspects in who is killing India the most? Now, they could be politicians, the prime minister and the rest of the politicians, because they are elected and they are meant to serve the people. It could be the bureaucrats, because though they're not elected, they are in office for 35 years or so. They cannot be thrown out. And some would argue that they spend the maximum time, while politicians can be thrown out after 5 years. So are they the people who are killing India the most? Or could it be the citizens? Because the citizens actually elect the politicians, and some people say that the citizens of India are not good, and so are they the people who are killing India the most? Then there are a few candidates which people may not consider immediately. But a good detective has to take into account all kinds of suspects. So what about the regulators? By having very poor regulations, by implementing them poorly, are they the people who are killing India the most? And what about the judiciary, with things like very, very slow justice, with things going, where the judiciary tends to maybe at times assume the role of the executive, and also allows all kinds of public interest litigations. So, some may argue that it is the judiciary that is killing India the most. And finally, what about the role of independent media? Not only independent media in India, but also abroad. Are they killing India the most because they are supposed to be shaping public opinion? So before we can answer this question, we need to examine the evidence. So let's do that. So first of all, if we look at the biggest reform that is required, then a lot of us will agree that the biggest reform that is required is that we need to change the air of skepticism to one of optimism. Because whether it is the global community, whether it's investors, whether it's countries around the world, whether it is internal people in India, various parts of India like business, judiciary, regulators, politicians, bureaucrats, etc. So all of them, okay, if they are skeptical that India is going to progress, then there is going to be no progress and India will gradually die. So if we agree that the biggest reform required is changing skepticism to optimism, then our answer as to who is killing India the most becomes very obvious. So here I'll just pause for a few minutes for you to think of what the solution could be before revealing the solution. Actually, I won't pause for a few minutes. I think I'm done now, and it's time to reveal the solution. So the answer is obvious, because the people who actually are supposed to shape public opinion and move public opinion from uh, a climate of skepticism to optimism, whichever the area. So it could be citizens, it could be industry, it could be regulators, it could be judiciary, it could be politicians, it could be anyone. Okay, that role of who should be moving India from skepticism to optimism is clearly one of the roles of independent media, both India and foreign. But as long as independent media keeps painting India in uh, uh, various hues which are not very flattering, and keeps trying to say that this is bad, this is terrible, without actually encouraging solutions and optimism, then I think independent media really misunderstands its role and is the clear um, candidate uh, to assume the role of the uh, prime person who is killing India the most. Now, the solution is very easy, right? And it doesn't require all of the media to reform, but it requires some of the media to reform to encourage debate around how the various problems that are killing India can be resolved, and moving to a uh, platform where a billion minds, uh, plus a billion plus minds, because there are many friends of India all over the world. There is the Indian diaspora. There are people who, for very selfish reasons, want a great place to invest in, so that there is a growth engine for the world post-COVID. So there are many, many stakeholders who would be glad to get a forum which independent media could provide, which looks for solutions and just does not criticize and keeps criticizing and keeps criticizing and killing India the most. Thank you very much for listening to me.